Welcome to Origin Stories. I'm RD.
I'm Parrot.
We're telling stories behind a digital art revolution.
Each week we interview top artists
and live stream with the community.
Let's go. Today is tomorrow's origin story. What's up, guys?
Yo.
Who has the birds? I hear birds in the background right now.
Oh, it's probably me, maybe. I hope it's me, actually.
There's birds here as well.
It's not me. I have crows, so it would be horrifying if they were noisy.
It's really real.
Yeah.
Victor, you're bringing such a serene backdrop. Looks beautiful, you know.
Oh, dude, and I'm on my laptop, but if you see outside, it's like a super nice day, like a super nice day. That's why I think the birds is my birds.
Is that you guys' new studio you're at, Victor? The one you guys went in on? Hell yeah. Yeah. This is like the gallery space is in the front, and you cannot see anything right now because of the reflection. And then we have like a little working space here. Love it.
Nice.
Inside, yeah, but it's finally coming together. It took so long to kind of get everything set up and buy everything. We still have a few things that we need to get, but it's slowly coming together for sure.
Nice.
Looks great, man.
Yeah, thank you, dude. You guys have to come visit, dude. Come visit
as well.
Dude, come here, come visit, dude.
I will. You're not that far away from me, man. You're like a 3 or 4 hour drive. But
wait, you're in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not even joking. I have so many friends in Seattle that I'm gonna be there every Friday, pretty much. Yes. Yeah, for real.
That's what I like to hear.
What
Dude,
about
yeah,
Scotland? You got any mates in Scotland?
Dude, you're way too far, dude.
It's only a plane. Come on.
It's just like a 3 times 10-hour flight. It's no big deal.
I'm not allowed in your
crazy.
country, but I'm pretty sure you guys are allowed in my country.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Scotland's
really?
open.
Yeah.
How's
I
the
think
summertime there?
Yeah.
Yeah, what time of year does one visit Scotland? When's the best time?
Winter, as in, for me, it must be like January or February if you want real wild Scotland. But then in the summer, it's amazing for the islands because there's so many little Scottish isles, and you get wild puffins and all kinds of stuff. So in general, anytime it's insane. I've seen every season, and everything is just mental. But winter, as in February, is extremes, like in the Highlands. It's like you're on the set of, on the Isle of Skye, the shot Prometheus and some stuff.
Shit.
That's sick.
Yeah, the Old Man of Storr. I've been up that mountain, so that is extreme. But it got to a point when we went up it and the weather was so bad, we had to crawl down because we were just being winded off. So there's a lot of areas that is just very wild, and there's crazy rivers and pools, and there's a beach on the Isle of Harris that looks like you're in the Maldives, but then it's -10, and then it's got pure white sand and clear blue waters. So it's just mental.
Can we please go there?
Yeah.
Can we actually make a trip happen?
That's
Yeah,
artist
it's on the list,
residency.
isn't
I'd love to do I forget what it's called. I think it's called Light Gray Labs, but I did a residency with them, an artist one, and it was for Iceland, but they also do a Scottish one, and I was eyeing it because they do a mix of you retire every night and you do artist lectures, but then you also create every day and chill, and during the day you go out and you just shoot photos, or you just go hiking and this and that, and they take you to places that are off the grid.
Is that Lindsay?
Yeah, Lindsay. Did you do it?
No, I didn't do it, but I did oh wow, this is crazy. I did a book with them probably 10 years ago or more.
Yeah, they've been doing it a long time, and it's so well done. Well done.
That's crazy though. I literally just remembered her name because you said the name, and I was like, what do I know then? Oh yeah, the book, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, she's such a badass. I love her.
Yeah, that's dope. She's sweet.
Man, the global connection. How soon can we all get to one place, huh? I would go to Scotland. I would do it. Let's get out there.
Yeah.
Shout out Q Films TV. Hey all, says Scotland is mega, 6 hours away.
It's closer than us.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Well, we probably should actually all go visit Victor right now, because the big breaking news is we got something going on in Vancouver today.
Let's go.
We're putting some art in the streets of Vancouver. So
nice.
Artifacts makes its second second world tour stop.
Wow.
Vancouver, Canada, specifically focused. These 3 individuals, and actually we just done vertical crypto art with Too Much Lag, Exulo, Euphoria, Malavita. That's 4 more. We got Fred in the background over there, right? There he is. Beige as well, Jason Abayer. So on behalf of the first 10 artists in
what's that on the screen? Is that a sneak peek or something?
Zoom in hands.
He's watching porn probably. I don't know. Dude, we're like literally like having me and Fred in the same room for like any interview, any press, any live stream is like the worst idea that you can have. Like you don't want to have us together, dude. It's like the most unprofessional shit that you can fucking get. There you go. The worst, dude. I feel like if we were like big enough that we had like a PR team, you know, like celebrities have like a guy in the background to be like, don't say this, don't say that, dude. Our guy would be so mad all the fucking time. Yeah, poor guy, dude.
That's what makes it work.
Oh my god,
it's
dude,
candid.
The worst.
Bromance.
But yeah, dude, we're so excited about like, dude, can you guys believe that this guy here calls me last night, and he's like, oh yeah, by the way, we're having something in Vancouver tomorrow. I'm like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, surprise. I'm like, wait, dude, how am I finding out about this? Like literally like a day before. Like what? And he's like, yeah, dude, surprise.
Nice.
So I have this like. I have these grand, weird, utopian visions of like how things should happen, you know, and towing the line between like surprise and full reveal, and ending up usually somewhere in between. So
like last month when you go, how about Times Square? I'm like, fuck off, and you were like, maybe. I'm like, no way.
And we got there, Bill. We got there.
Yeah. You hit me up the day of and make me fly out there.
That's crazy, dude.
Dude, I didn't make you stepped into that one. I was like, damn, this dude's flying across country like early morning.
I didn't even ask. I was just like, I'm there.
that was amazing,
dude. I would have gone if everything was open. I would have done the same thing. It's like, oh, dude, it's too late. I'll be there in a few hours.
Yep.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
That's how I feel about Vancouver too, except the border's closed.
Right.
A little harder.
It makes it a little tricky. You got to smuggle across the border.
Dude, I'm good at smuggling shit, dude. I got you.
Outed.
But yeah,
I got you, dude.
All right, I'm in. I'll get on a plane right now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be up for a full day, so you know, like I got time.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So where is it? Like I didn't know about the Vancouver thing. So like, how's that set up, and like, what are you guys doing?
So it was super duper last minute decision. So coming off of New York Times Square, the thought is that one of the missions of the project is to push the boundaries and to blend the lines right between digital art and real life. Right, I think I speak for us all in that digital art is art. Right, let's blur those lines. Let's get it out there. I have to say, it looked so sick on Times Square. It dominated Times Square. Like the black backdrop with all of the artworks popping off of it. It just dominated Times Square. So it's like, that was such a powerful experience. It immediately came off of it and said, this can't be it, right? This can't be it. It can't just be a splash there and, all right, cool. Now let's do our thing. There's by the way, a lot of substance to the project. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, in terms of how we push those boundaries, I don't want that to be it.
Right.
And so it was just getting back into what can we do? How can we do it? And now beginning a stage by stage, let's start to visit some cities and spread the artwork and see those reactions and have fun. So Vancouver, what is Vancouver? There are these things called digital street furniture screens, which is basically just a fancy term for like a standing digital frame that exists like all over downtown Vancouver. Mm-hmm. So we took 20 of them. And all 10 artists in the first wave of the project, they're going to have rotating, call them like movie posters, but big artwork shot, and then very clear full name. So you'll see those screens rotating all throughout downtown Vancouver for 24 hours, starting 3 p.m. PST today.
That's
crazy stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait because like Roger like send me like the list of places where the screens were going to be, and it's like there's something like kind of like even like like kind of like poetic about it because like most of like the like Vancouver is like a very small downtown, and like the main area here I guess is like the art gallery, and it's like it's nothing compared to like Times Square, not because of the scale, but because there's no screens, right? So it's just like this big plaza, and then the art gallery is like in the middle, but that's where everybody goes to, like, you know, if there's like a rally, everybody goes there. If there's like an event, they do it there. It's like the main plaza. So it's kind of like cool to see our stuff like kind of like next to the art gallery. It's kind of like a like perfect timing. You know what I mean? It's like that's kind of like an extra layer to it. So I think it's gonna be really cool, man. We can wait, and like we're actually like finishing some stuff now, so we can actually go later and like check the screens and everything.
Yeah,
it's quite funny that you can't around the world you can't access most art galleries now, but you can access our digital art out on the street.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah, exactly.
It is interesting about Vancouver as we were exploring things to do. You know, I'm sorry to Blake and to Bill and to all others, but Vancouver had like the democracy, right? The democracy. It was Fuckrender and Victor and Beige all there, so it was like, all right, you know, if we're, I know, Blake.
No, dude, smart guy right there, dude.
Thank you, X is here. I'm here. I'm forgetting everyone else is here.
Isn't Justin there?
I'm seeing Justin this Saturday. He lives 10 minutes from me.
Just hold that thought. Hold that. We're talking about.
It's held.
All right. Good.
Yeah, we remember this shit.
We'll get to Scotland. We'll get there.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
In the winter.
Right. True.
Yeah, in January. There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
But Victor, what you said about the artwork in Vancouver, it is interesting that there are no New York style massive screens. You know, so when you explore what are the options, what can you do? There are some projection options which weren't as great, and then there were all of these digital screens. So it just ended up it was the option that made the most sense for the city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be really cool. And like honestly, it's like if you see kind of like here like big events happening, like big promotions or something like that, it always happens there. So it's kind of like see it. It's like again, it's like our version of the Times Square. So it's kind of like it's kind of like awesome to see it happening there. It just happens to be like the front yard to like the art gallery, so that's kind of like makes it like extra cool a little bit. Like it's kind of extra layer of like complexity there.
When you guys take photos later, can Iggy be like a model? Like,
he's always the model.
Okay, good. Where's he, baby?
Gone, yeah, I think he's gone, but yeah, he's always in the photos. Like it's like the main focus, and then everything's in the background.
Perfect.
Can I have both you and Fred cuddling my artwork? So it's one naked skeleton guy and two boys on each side.
Dude, okay, you know that will happen. Like that's like the easiest thing to happen. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's literally what we do all day. So yeah.
Perfect.
Para, what's up, man?
Chilling. I'm excited to see the photos from this, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm really excited. It's
Are we relying on Victor and Fred for photos, or we got a
pretty much
good question?
We have multiple options. We're gonna be all right, Bill.
this is it, man. This is it. I barely charge my camera, so I'm gonna have like just like phone photos. I don't even have the fucking 0.5 lens, so it's all gonna be like the shitty iPhone 10 camera photos.
Nice.
As they say,
make sure your thumb's in the frame.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Look
at this guy.
Oh my God. So I gotta ask, Blake, I'll start with you. What went through your mind when this crazy notion of this project, when we started talking and brought up the initial ideas, like what was running through your mind at that moment?
That I'm such a shitty sketcher. Oh my God. No, in reality, I mean, I just love, it's like, I think your husband, Victor, is being noisy. But I feel like what first went through my head was just the fact that, again, this felt very curated and this felt like a really good gallery experience. And that even with like the more, I don't know, established platforms such as like the kind of standards we're used to, Foundation, Super, Nifty, and all that, it's still very much like confined to certain restrictions. And this just felt so creatively loose and free and collaborative. And I feel like that's such a blessing when you get that as an artist, because you naturally want some restraints, because to me, a total blank canvas also equals total creative rep, because it's like, that's too much freedom. And you have that really loose structure in place that worked to where then it was like, now I can do whatever the hell I want. And it's going to be awesome because I just have so much creative juices and I can go about this so many ways. And so it was really a fast and like lovely process. And it felt really therapeutic because I did it after working on a handful of client works and including the Paris Hilton collaboration. And I just needed to just like, I couldn't figure out a way to do, I still am struggling to find a way to do personal work because I got burnt out. I just accepted too much work and I like fried my batteries. And that was like the first time, honestly, probably in most recent times where I was like, I'm super proud of this work. And I'm like thrilled that like you created such a positive space that was also collaborative with the Discord and like getting feedback and stuff, and was very nurturing, that it's just been such a holistic experience. And it felt like it really helped recharge my batteries a bit.
Wow. I'm excited to hear that. That's really special to hear. And I'm glad, because one of the things that I was aware of from the beginning is
punched Joe in the face.
What, mother?
It sounds like Harry Potter music, kind of.
There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah.
All right, I put him back on mute.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Such like a Harry Potter soundtrack with voice.
But when I was going out and asking those initial questions, something that I was very aware of is how much stress was in the space, right? How much work was on everyone's plates, and how hard everyone was going, like across the board in the NFT space. And so it was like very much that moment of, you know, believing that there was something special to be created, but not wanting to put too much pressure. So I'm really glad that it was perceived as a positive experience, and a therapeutic one at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm excited to see what Dirk does. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Me too.
Bill, how about you, man? What do you think? The first time I ever approached you.
First, I think we spoke about it, but then I was all in full on in memoriam mode. And then you came back to me again when I had time to settle down and sort of recharge and just reconcile with and recompose myself. And you dropped some names and the idea, and I love the idea of the simple sketch, which, like, I mean, I don't really do a lot of sketching, and it's almost like it's been years since I started sketching ideas out, and I just found the power of it just came effortlessly. Like I didn't even have to do any research. I was just scribbling down, and then the piece just came to me, and it was like one of the most straightforward and like rewarding experiences of creating this piece, like in probably the majority of my personal work, because it just had that sort of bang click idea. It just came to me through the help of the sketch, and I love how you're merging the three mediums, like the AR, the digital artwork, and the sketch, and the idea of the collective sketch element, and how everyone comes together, and it feels like a big collaboration, but everyone has their own voice and everyone's free to do what they want, but then as a whole feels like a great team project, and I'm honored to be part of it with all the other legends that are in it.
One of those legends, Victor Mosquera. Victor, what'd you think? What'd you think the first time we ever talked about the idea? How did you feel about it?
Dude, I was telling you kind of yesterday. It's like I know you kind of like we go like way back since everything started, and like you're one of the first people that I talked to in the space, and like it's one of the people that I really trust when it comes to like anything. You know what I mean? Like I really trust you, like your judgment. I really believe in your vision. So when you came to me, it's like I have an idea. I'm like, yep, sign me up. And you're like, well, wait, like let me like listen to me. And I'm like, yeah, what's up? And then when you kind of like explain to me the concept, it's kind of like those things that right away my initial kind of reaction was like, this is about legacy, and this is like, I think I told you yesterday, is like I think about it when people say, you know, like, oh, like if you have like a capsule that you can like send in a rocket ship to like the aliens, for aliens to see, to like represent us, or like a very like music, or like a very specific thing. This is kind of how I think about this project. It's like a capsule that is always going to be preserved in time for like this moment this artist, and then it's kind of like preserving that legacy of like a bunch of us. You know, it's like it's an honor to be included with like so many amazing people, like everybody on stage, and like I mean everybody except Fred, but like it's amazing to like like just be next to everybody and be part of something that feels like a moment in history, and that's kind of like big words. It's like when you say that you're being part of history in a very specific way is kind of like mind blowing if you think about it. And I feel like the reason why sometimes it's kind of like hard to grasp is because we're living it right now. But then I'm sure that again, like we're like fucking like dying in 80, we're gonna be like, what the fuck? Like that was crazy. And like that's gonna be like one of those key moments.
80, we're all hitting triple digits.
Slow down, Victor.
We're all hitting triple digits. Stop.
No, dude. I don't want to be 100 and like walking at like 2 miles per hour.
Dude, medicine's gonna be so advanced. You could do a marathon at 80, and like
maybe
By then we've probably got like robotic legs and arms and that. We'll be like walking cyberpunk.
I'm cool.
Bro. In Canada, we don't even have the vaccine. Do you think we're gonna live plus 100 years? Fuck no, dude.
That's interesting though, because I know Roger like positions it as a legacy thing, and Victor, you talking about legacy and capsules too. Like, I don't know how. I would love to hear how all of you feel, but like for me, I'm not that I'm anti-legacy, but like for me with my work, every step is then it's the best thing ever, and then the next step is now that's the best thing ever. And so it's like an interesting thing because I think the time capsule thing is perfect, where it's like, I don't think it's a legacy. I think it's more of just a moment in time that's captured with so many peers and like loved ones and collaborators and friends that are all just happen to be in the same artistic space at the same moment of life, versus like legacy where it's just like, oh God, like, no, I hope I keep like every step forward keeps being better. It feels so finite. Like, I feel like I don't know, put like an expiration date on myself when I say legacy. How do you guys feel about that?
That's a good comment.
I think it's different though, because like I feel like legacy, like when I think about like my like just being like personal, like my legacy, I even think about the art that I was making 10 years ago or 11 years ago when I was like first starting. That's my legacy too, it's like everything, and like I can go back to it. Like I can go back to see like I don't know, like art that I made literally like 10 years ago, and it's like video game looking art, and like it was me trying to get a job and whatever.
I forget you have like a totally different style. That's insane.
Yeah,
I only learned that like a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So like I can go back to that and be like, that's part of my legacy. Like I feel like legacy is like the entirety of like your life and what you did with it. And then I feel like legacy is even like you're not even supposed to be here anymore when people talk about your legacy. You know what I mean? It's like legacy is something that is like it's like what you're doing right now, and then kind of how you're gonna be remembered, and like the body of work that you did in the time that you were alive, and like that's kind of like the more legacy in like a more, I guess, like technical way, like in a more kind of like dictionary type of way. But you're right. It's like that. That's why I think about that when we're 80 or 100 in your case. Like I feel like you're gonna look back at this, and it's like again, like we're gonna remember this live stream. We're gonna remember New York. We're gonna remember our friendship. We're gonna remember even before NFTs how we all been talking on Instagram for years and years. We're gonna remember the day that we first met Roger. You know what I mean? It's like those moments is like, I feel like that's kind of like the perfect thing to have once your career is like reaching to an end, because your life is too. And that's beautiful. Like I feel like that's such a that's such a special thing to have, and not a lot of people get to experience that. So that's why I was saying that it's like an honor to kind of like experience it, not only for myself, but it's also it's kind of like even sweeter to experience it with people like friends, like people like you guys that I know for the years and years. It's super special. Honestly, it's super special when you think about it.
Yeah.
I like that's wicked. I mean, I feel the same. I like to call it as well, almost like a checkpoint on our creative journey, because we don't know when this is going to end. Like it still feels like, to me, I've been doing this for 10 years now. It still feels like the beginning. Like every time there's something new, it feels like a new beginning. It's almost like New Game Plus. We come with experience, and every time something happens, we're inspired again to create more. And like when Roger came to me, I was feeling a bit glum because I released the artwork, and then obviously you almost have like a bit of a come down after a big art collection coming to an end, and you finish all the hard work. And then instantly it was like, all right, New Game Plus, new checkpoint, got a new life, let's keep going. And the thought of just immortalizing this moment with all you guys, and the respect I've had from Roger, and all of you guys and the help and the support from the beginning. I just feel it's amazing. It's like I carry a lot of tattoos on my body, and like this feels like another memorable tattoo, which I tattoo memories and inspirations on me. So this feels like one of them moments that we will remember in years to come, and we'll be grateful for what Roger provided and the teamwork that we've all put into this.
100%.
Blake, to your point too, the legacy to me is the legacy of a moment, right?
Yeah.
Is that the emotion of the emotion of the project, the heart of the project, really started in November, December. And actually, Stefan Too Much Lag had this great analogy that I have to share here.
Of course.
He said November, December of 2020 was like everyone, a big box of Legos were dumped in the middle of a room, and people from all walks of life entered that room and sat down and started building castles in any way that they possibly wanted to do it. All colors, all shapes, all sizes. And there were enough Legos for everyone. And everyone's looking
Then
around.
Pac came with his crazy techniques and the crazy robotics and the code and all the mad cool Lego kids, and I've got no idea how they do what they do. And we're stuck there with Lego duplex.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
But like looking around in that moment, it felt like living history. It felt like something that eventually everyone would want a part of because it was too damn special to be otherwise.
Yeah.
But it was protected in that moment in a weird sense of like, this is finite and it will it's still special. Don't get me wrong. But we see the noise and we see the grandiosity of it. And we see things that are great and things that are not so great and things that are in between. And that's all cool. It's how things evolve. It's how markets grow. Right. But it's like, that was the moment where it's the legacy of that moment and all the people who were operating within that moment, creating within that moment, putting themselves out there within that moment and contributing to the very thing that everyone wanted. That to me was crazy. It was like, how to capture this? Like, how do you write that book? You could write a book, cool, but this is digital art, right?
Yeah.
And like digital art is art, but let's look into the digital art space. Let's cast our eyes there and like, where is it all going? Where is it all going? So the book to write was metaverses and I call it time travel. It's like, what's going to be around 2 years from now? We don't really know that yet, right? People can have great guesses, great projections, but no one knows for sure because of how fast the space is moving. But let's look out there and let's say, how could we preserve something for that time and keep walking it forward? So, anyway, I just got off on a random tangent. I'll give the mic up there.
No, I love that. And it is a thing and I feel like Bill and I have had this conversation too, so maybe he can follow up on this. But for the longest time, I was working and I was like, I came from a graphic design background and it was like, I'm doing this because it's a medium that speaks to me and I'm more artistic in this medium and I want to be seen not as a designer, but an artist. And then, pairing myself with agents and pairing myself with different collaborations or projects that could elevate my work over the years, I was still always ostracized from that fine art world because of the fact that it was the digital art medium. And then I would always remember, because I minored in art history in college and also took it all through high school, that it was a thing of every medium that is new, especially non-physical mediums like photography, for example, or film, have always been super ostracized when they were first introduced because people were super angry about it. And I think I'd even read that the first computer artist, I believe, not the very first ever, but one of the first prolific female computer artists decades ago, that she was called explicitive words by her friends and peers because they're like, you're doing this bullshit medium basically. And so now to see it so embraced and to see that we're able to actually feel as confident as we feel when we're making the work, but with its reception and how people are able to digest it and that it's not just confined to the bounds of a social media scroll and tap is amazing. It's so not even ego raising, it's just validating that, it wasn't a wasted time to do something that I love. And, even if it was a wasted time financially, it would be okay, cool, I'm still going to do it because I love it. But it's so reassuring to keep pursuing that craft and bettering in it.
Yeah, I think it's mad as well now. I agree with that, or the same position with the fine art world. And I actually had experience with the fine art world, in galleries and stuff. And the sort of disrespect because when they found out I was digital, and like the means of how much they pushed me to get stuff screen printed and like hand dot some gold leaf on the artwork. I'm like, you can do all that, but then the nature of the artwork is digital, so it's almost like faking it. So then you get even worse imposter syndrome because you're not true to your medium. You're just trying to do something that is not exactly what you do, but then you don't do it as good as the others that are like physical painters. And then you're like in this state of limbo. I'm like, well, who the fuck am I? What do I do? And what do I have to give? And like finally, and like a lot of us have been doing it for so long, so many of us, and up in this on this floor, and other people like Fred and all the other artists, and we've been doing it for so long. Like the fact, for example, Fred was at Art Basel and he was just doing VJing projections where there were so many artists in the room treated as artists, and then he's there doing a VJ show because he wasn't respected as an artist.
Like equal to a waiter or this or that, which should all be treated amazing. Don't get me wrong, but like it's a different social level when it's an event like that.
Yeah, it was almost there to entertain people on a night out rather than to be enjoyed as artwork. And a lot of our stuff, and a lot of us here, it was our whole career was creating stuff for others for their needs, which was marketing needs, promotional needs, and like stuff like covers and clothing and posters, which is a great career. But then take that away, what you're left with your passion to create your personal work. And then when you don't have anyone to sell that to because your medium is not digital, is not physical per se, is a digital mix, and you're trying to fake everything, it sort of becomes this constant battle in your brain, like, am I good enough? And the NFT space has showed us, and so many artists and people that were completely sidelined, like animators, like photographers did have fine art photography, and that was a thing. But like animators, I never thought, like, seeing animators now sell their artwork as animation, not trying to do any other medium, it's just amazing. And it's just beautiful to see because animation is art in itself. So
it's amazing to me how clear that thought can be in my own head. I feel so convicted in exactly what you just said, and yet it's not yet all the way mainstream, right? It's not yet there. Like the thought is still percolating. There's still education involved. There's still the preconception of how digital art was consumed, those hidden value transactions, right? All that stuff is still out there. But it's so clear, of course, that's the emotion that I have. And I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited to see time walk itself forward because it'll all get there. There's just no doubt. There's no doubt in my mind.
And the other fun thing as well is like an example of how all of us and photographers and influencers at the time basically made Instagram what it was for free. Like we didn't get anything out of it, but Instagram and Facebook got so much. And it's almost, you see the same now with TikTok because there's so many TikTok entertainers, but like they're not really getting paid. There's the creator fund now, but there's so many people that is literally their living to create content on TikTok and socials, and they're not really getting anything back.
I just want to interrupt you real quick because I want to I saw a chart the other day that blew my mind because, Twitter is introducing tipping, which is really cool. And Twitter tipping is going to go 100% to the artist, which is awesome. And I feel like this could be a whole different conversation, but so many artists, especially ones who are, maybe environmentally concerned and stuff and who don't do NFTs, do Patreons and stuff like that instead. And it was a thing where I think TikTok takes 40 to 50% of whoever tips you. And it's like, that's a ton. That's a lot of money for a tip. Like you might think like, oh, I'm donating $1. That makes a huge difference. It's like, ooh, 50 cents doesn't. You know what I mean? And so it's like to have that gatekeeping of what you're allowed to earn from these different platforms taken away for the most part, because again, there are fees usually, but even with fees, then you compare them to all the various other fees. And in our case, we compare them to fine art gallery fees, which are way steeper in my opinion. And it's amazing. It's very freeing and you're allowed to really flourish. And like you, for example, Bill, making like an amazing book and stuff. Like, I don't think personally you'd be able to do that if it wasn't for this space.
No, I wouldn't be able to afford it in the past. And now I'm going all in. Well, I'm making 2 books, one for collectors and one actual book that will be up for sale and stuff. But I couldn't do that before. I wanted to do it. And there's so many things I did want to do. And so many of us so many things we wanted to do, but we couldn't. And it's like great what you mentioned about TikTok as well, because it's funny how people are willing to sit on the devices for hours and just look at people entertain them on social media. But as soon as it comes to payment, they're like, nah, unfollow that. I'm like, it's like, well, support the entertainers and the creators that entertain your life. And we saw with COVID as well. It's like, well, couldn't go to work, so we had fuck all to do. So literally, internet became our source of entertainment. Whether it's art, music, comedy, everything was online. And it just makes so much more sense. Like creators, entertainers, and everyone that has a passion for what they do finally has means to make a living from it.
Yeah.
NFTs are that renaissance. They're a piece, right? They're a piece. They are part of. They are in and of themselves a renaissance. As are a couple other things going on now. But it's just amazing to me how now the creative can step forth and develop the relationship, right? The relationship with the collector on the other side via this like wonderful social contract marketplace, like however you want to frame it. But it's an incredible time. It's really an incredible time.
And we call them now NFTs. In 5 years, they might not even have a name. It might just be normal life or everything.
Or digital art. Yeah.
Yeah. But the term might not even be a thing. It'll be like everything is just considered as a standard.
Yeah.
I think that's right. I think all of these like the terminologies and the educational obstacles and the technical obstacles that hold pieces of the mainstream back and give people pause. Yeah, you're right. That the NFT may drop away and be replaced. Like Ethereum may still be used, but it may be like a hidden layer transaction where you can interact with any form of currency at like any time.
Like
US,
Sora or Navigate,
anything, right? Yeah. And then you just transact with your currency and then behind the scenes, like maybe you give up a couple percent in fees, but it just happens magically where you're not even worried about buying ETH or those considerations whatsoever.
And you're not worried about the stigma from people that don't get it.
Yeah, exactly.
I had to get my accountant to explain to my solicitor how I've made my income in the past few months, and she didn't even know what NFTs were. And as soon as she heard the word crypto, she's like, "No, I can't take you on." I'm like, "What?"
But that's also interesting, not from a finance department, because I am in the same situation there, and it is not fun. But yay, United States taxes. But one thing that does, I don't know, it makes me always feel weird is, again, came from a designer background, went to an artist background, really had that kind of quarrel on what is my label. And then I never see the phrase gallery artist, really. I just see artist. And so I get very confused, not in a negative or positive way, just personally confused when people are like, I'm a crypto or an NFT artist. It's like, why aren't you just an artist? And that's like my personal take. And I don't mean anything by it. I could be ignorant. But I just think that's weird to pigeonhole yourself on where your marketplace is. I think it's more successful to be like, no, I'm an artist. And if anything, it's like I'm a physical or a digital or a photographer or a filmmaker, etc. And I think it's weird when folks say gallery or NFT or crypto. It seems like you're just trying to outdate yourself because you're relying on the current, predicament.
Yeah, I feel there is some artists that are like crypto native. I wouldn't consider myself that. Mm-hmm. I consider myself a digital artist, in general, an artist. But there is a lot of crypto artists that use the technologies way better than I know how to do. So I think
that's fair.
So some people use the term more in terms of the crypto technology rather than like the funds in the marketplace for it, because otherwise we would be called dollar artist or British pound artist or like, do you know what I mean? Or like peso artist. It just, I think some people understand the word differently. And I get a lot of people think a crypto artist is just because of the money, but then some others are about the technology. So I think it's hard to differentiate sometimes. And I really get your point, because then a lot of us now being just called NFT artists. I'm like, well, we do NFT, but we do many other things as well. Yeah. So let's just put it all in one artist, done.
Yeah. I personally
that's not disrespect to the NFT space or the crypto space. I think is like labels are cool at some point. I just like to be called a digital artist, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
because
I
that
like
is
the top
respectful
tier.
to the medium as well.
Like, do your most direct top tier label, in my opinion, because also it's like, and I would love to hear how Vixer, Bill, Parrott, any of you guys feel as well as artists. Like, I'm still gonna take on dope client work when it comes, and I'm still gonna do my personal shit that's not gonna get tokenized, and I'm still gonna do tokenized works as well. And then if phrases change, etc., in the next 10 years, then it's like cool, that's what happens. But it's just like an odd thing to me to, I don't know, like, I guess pigeonhole that label.
Yeah,
I mean, personally, I like an equilibrium and a nice balance of everything.
Yeah.
I want to do NFT, and I'll still keep doing NFT. But also, I want to release books. I want to release some statues. I want to release more prints. I want to honor every medium that I've worked with. I want to honor them all in a fair and equal manner, and not discriminate against the mediums that I work with and some of my audience and fans appreciate. Because not everyone will like NFT, and that's fair enough. But not everyone will like print, or not everyone will like a book. So I think it's just what I want to do as an artist, but I'm not going to discriminate against one medium or the other and go 100% into one thing.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Roger knows how, like, I've literally been saying that exact same thing for like 8 months. Like, literally, like the first thing when I heard like somebody being like, "Oh, I'm a crypto artist," I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, even like, dude, like, even honestly, like, I mean, I get it. The only time when I feel like I'm like, okay, sure, is when like I see people like what Bill is saying. That is like people who became artists only to do, like, maybe they're better at using the technology, they're better at thinking about smart contracts, they're better about, I don't know, kind of like knowing how crypto works, that kind of stuff. I don't know, man. I'm gonna sound shitty. I don't come from a crypto background. I don't come from a investing background. I don't come from a money background. I'm an artist, and I became an artist not to sell NFTs. I became an artist not to stack ETH. I became an artist because I wanted to make cool shit, and I needed to like express myself, and I didn't know how to do it with like words. So I think like the reason why I became an artist hasn't changed, and I don't think it's ever gonna change because like again, like none of us could have predicted that this was going to happen. So to me, it's kind of like beating a dead horse every time that I'm like, don't say crypto artist, you're an artist. It's like, yeah, of course. Like, dude, and honestly, to me, even like digital artists, it's like, dude, you're an artist. Like, that's it. Point. Like, there's no separation between any of those things. And to me, even digital artists, I mean, I get it that if you're medium like this dude, Mr. Fuck Renderers right here. He's the biggest advocate of like digital art and like I don't like prints and physical stuff. Metaverse, whatever, which is awesome. I just think that there's so much space for everything to live inside that the art umbrella. It's like it's such a big umbrella that I don't see why it should be like, wait, do you prefer physical or digital? Do you prefer NFTs or canvas? Do you prefer a digital gallery or a crypto boxes place? Like, dude, why are you trying to like part ways with some of the stuff and kind of like pick sides when everything is under the same umbrella? Like, to me, it just makes absolute no sense. So yeah, like again, it's like I remember like when I started doing NFTs, everybody was like, especially on Twitter, like on Instagram, there is like a very different kind of like community, and a bunch of people were like, "Yo, like, are you just doing NFTs now?" And I'm like, for now, because it's new and exciting, and I've been able to do something that I never was able to do in my life. So right now, yes, I'm excited about this. So that's why I'm kind of like focusing on this right now. But I'm never gonna start doing like, like a canvas. Like a canvas takes me like, I don't know, a month to do. But I don't do digital because it's easier or because it's faster. I do it because I needed to do it that way for what I want to say, right? Or there's stuff that I can do in digital that I cannot do in a canvas just because the medium, right?
Yeah.
So again, it goes the same. Roger was saying yesterday, it's like, or maybe somebody asked yesterday, it's like, oh, like how do you feel about versus still in animation, like still versus animation? It's like, dude, you don't have to like you don't have to choose. If you have to choose, it's because you need to pick one or the other. So it's like, are you doing NFTs? Why are you doing NFTs? Oh, because you can use a smart contract and you cannot use smart contract with a canvas or like a paper. Sick, do it that way. why are you doing animation? Is it because you need to tell a bigger story, or is it because you just want to make an animation because people buy animation? That's a different story, right? So I feel like the umbrella is so huge, and there's room for everybody, and there's no need to pick sides. And it's very silly when I hear people being like, how are traditional art is gonna come into the space? Is like, what do you mean? The same way that you came into a space, like
it's like great, good.
They might not be doing crazy smart contracts yet, and they might not be doing some of it so that you are more like versatile in just because you understand the medium more. But that doesn't mean that they won't, and that doesn't mean that you have to choose. Like there's this, to me that's silly, because like I feel like by doing that you're missing out on a bunch of like beautiful art and a bunch of like beautiful people that you kind of like just block from your brain because you're like, oh no, whatever, that's a traditional artist and I only like digital, or the other way around. And I feel like everybody's kind of like seeing the lines begin to like blur a little bit, which is like interesting, and it's also like cool to see. But yeah, like to me, like from the very beginning, it was very clear that there's no separation between any of that, and what you're saying as an artist is way more important than how you did it. Like, hands up.
Yeah, I feel like labels are usually subtractive, not additive. And I don't know. I always, this like conversation always reminds me of music. That's what I grew up doing, was making mainly electronic music. And my whole life, everyone was like, "You're not a real musician. You don't play any instruments." Even though I do play instruments, I play piano, tiny bit of guitar. But when I choose to express myself, it's on my computer in Ableton, doing all the other stuff. And it's like the same thing here, where it's like you're not a real artist. You're doing NFTs. You're doing digital art. But that's just because I grew up working on computers and playing video games, and I feel like I'm a digital native in that sense. And I think crypto artists, like what we were talking about, would be those crypto native people who became artists through the crypto space. But it's all expression and it's all authentic, and I think that's really what matters at the end of the day.
Dude, I tell you something like related to that. It's funny because like I remember I come from a very like super traditional background in terms of like education. Like the way that I learned how to paint and draw is like it's like an atelier kind of like plan where it's like literally like painting with oils, painting with like wash, watercolor, painting from life, drawing from life, and
using the pencil to measure the scale.
Dude, I was like the one dick at the class, just being like, wait, what the fuck? So like, I feel like, dude, that stuff is irrelevant because the way that I learned, like, dude, I don't come from money, and materials, like especially oils, are fucking expensive, dude. So I remember it's insane. So like I did it, but I remember going to class and spending like a bunch of money that I didn't have at the moment in like paints, and then I was like trying not to use it. So I was like kind of like using it as little as I can, and I was more worried about not using the paint because it was so expensive than actually paying attention to what I was doing. So I remember like, dude, the way that I actually got better, like when I started to like actually get better, is because I learned how color works in Photoshop, not even with like paints, right? So it's like, again, that's why I feel like the medium, again, it's just a tool that you're using, but what matters is like, again, like if your project is interesting enough, if your idea is like ambitious enough, if your art is good enough, even if you're a nice fucking person, it's like there's so many like variables to like the artist career that I feel like, again, if somebody's like even a little bit worried of like, ooh, I'm digital or traditional or like something like that, doesn't make sense. So it's like even what Pablo was saying is like, I also come from like a music background, and that doesn't matter anymore. Like some of the biggest musicians in the world, they barely know how to play something, and actually I know a lot, like personally, I know a lot of them, they learn how to play an instrument after the fact that they learn how to make music, and they learn how to make music on Ableton or Logic or whatever, just because it's easier. So there's more room for experimentation.
Like I'm learning how to paint now after I've learned 3D and digital painting. Now I'm like learning how to paint with oils and watercolor and stuff like that, because I've already learned like color theory and stuff through the digital medium. So now I feel like,
man, that's dude. And it's like, again, it's like, I feel like if you go super like purist about it, it's like like back in the, I don't know, 18th century, whatever, 17th century, people used to have to make their own paints. We like literally like grinding oil with like the powder and everything. So it's like literally like somebody would say like, oh, like you're like you're less because now you go to a store and you buy the oil. So it's like, dude.
And now no one does that shit, which is so
So,
funny.
yeah. So it's like, hey, so what do you want me to do? Like literally make everything from scratch just so I can prove to you that I'm better, dude. No, like if you like my stuff, good. If you don't like it, good. But like pay attention to those kind of things. I feel like it's like a very narrow-minded way to see things for sure.
Yeah, it's not about the art.
Plus, you waste time creating the assets to make the art than actually making the art. So you could make more art.
Yeah.
The time you spend making the tools.
Yeah,
let
you won't
the
get
people
better.
that are good at making the tools make the tools, and you make the art.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, like and you won't get better. Like if you can maximize, again, it's like you can kind of like figure like trying to reinvent the wheel and kind of like figure everything yourself and just like, be like the most badass guy in the world and like some like people are
Like
gonna
a
respect you
purist.
for that.
Like
Yeah,
basically
exactly.
a purist. Yeah.
But dude, to be honest, to me that's a little bit like insecurity, a little bit, because I know a lot of like purist people like that are like, oh, like you're doing, dude. Even when I started doing like work for video games, that everything is like digital, they were like, that's not art, that's not drawing, and I see where they're coming from, but it's so silly. It's like, hey man, like I'm having a good time. I actually learned how to be a better artist because I've been doing this, making money. Like life is good, and then you hear complaining about what I'm doing. It's like, okay, good, like good luck. Like it's your call. It's a very easy way to kind of like weed out those people that I don't know. I just caught up on details or caught up on like a certain era in history or whatever it is, you know.
Yeah, and also if we're being purists and stuff, like some of the biggest artists in the world, Jeff Koons, Damien Hirst, Banksy, all these guys have teams working
that they
for them.
usuday don't credit also. Let's keep that in mind.
They've got actual big teams of people working for them. So like at the end of the day is the idea as well.
Yeah.
That comes into it. Of like that's what the artist brings as well. And I think we're pretty good in the fact that we make pretty much everything we do. But it's also is like some of the biggest people, like Jeff Koons, when he commissioned that entire series of replicas of famous paintings, and there was a chrome sphere in the middle. But like he didn't paint the painting; he commissioned other painters to do the replicas. It was the idea of the artwork that went with it. So I think that the purism that comes a lot of times into the art world is like unnecessary and a bit pointless in my opinion, because of like, well, you didn't grow the tree you cut into use to frame the canvas. So what?
Yeah, hey, guys, real quick. I have a hard stop at 5 of. I have to jump to something else, but I wanted to say a proper farewell to each and every one of you. I wanted to say thank you for being here on Origin Stories live stream. It was one of the greatest honors to the first reveal, right? I keep going back to that point. The first reveal of each of your artworks was an incredibly special moment. Then seeing that reveal and that artwork up on, Times Square, and you guys and gals all dominated Times Square as far as I'm concerned. So let's keep things rolling. Much love. I'm sorry I have to hop here kind of abruptly.
How dare you?
I know.
So rude, man. So rude.
No, I know.
We were vibing.
It was nice meeting you, dude. It was nice meeting you.
Bye.
No, we love you, dude. Thank you for having us, and thank you for everything that you've been. Like, we appreciate you so much, man. You know it.
Go and draw a dick on the screen today in Vancouver.
Rude words. Okay, look who you're talking to, dude. Got it.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right, later, man.
See ya.
All right.
No, we just need a photo shoot of Iggy. Thank you.
Dude, I know. I'll make it happen.
Okay.
All right, guys. I'm looking at you.
Bye. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.